The gilded cage. The greatest threat to your future is not failure. It's not poverty, and it's not external competition. The single greatest threat to becoming the person you were meant to be is comfort. We live in a world that constantly sells us a lie, the lie of stability. We're told to find the safe path, to secure the easy reward, to build a life where struggle is minimized. We chase the steady paycheck, the predictable routine, the relationship that demands nothing of us. We build ourselves a gilded cage. It looks beautiful from the outside, but a cage is still a cage, even if the bars are bold. If you are in your 20s or early 30s, a time when you should be defining your limits, not finding your balance, this is not a goal. It is a compromise. And that compromise guarantees a life of quiet, nagging regret. The ancients warned us about this. They didn't call it comfort or stability. They called it the refusal of the call. The psychological cost of safe. What is the actual psychological cost of choosing the path of least resistance? It begins with something innocuous, the soul's itch. You have a good job. You have a predictable future. You have all the markers of success that society mandates. Yet, in the quiet moments, when the noise fades, there's a feeling. It's not depression, it's not burnout. It's a low-grade, constant, unidentifiable sense of loss. It's the feeling of knowing that the life you are currently living is beneath the life you are capable of living. This is the psychological tax on unearned comfort. When you skip the struggle, you bypass the development required to truly own your success. You are sitting on a throne built by someone else, and your deep self knows it. The human nervous system is not designed for endless, unchallenged tranquility. We are forged in friction. Our self-worth is intrinsically tied to competence, and competence is only achieved through the mastery of voluntary, difficult tasks. When we remove all friction, the brain becomes lazy, entitled, and worst of all, anxious. The constant pursuit of ease is a form of cognitive atrophy. We train ourselves to avoid pain, but in doing so, we avoid the very experiences that teach us resilience and provide deep meaning. The dopamine rush of a comfortable existence is a flatline. It's the reward system telling you nothing new here, no growth required. And nothing kills the soul faster than the conviction that no growth is required. Psychologically, the trap tightens over time. In your 20s, you still have the energetic and mental currency to escape. But every year you delay, the opportunity cost multiplies. The golden handcuffs of a high-paying, soul-crushing job become heavier. The routines calcify. The idea of leaving the ordinary world, to use the language of myth, becomes not just scary, but financially and socially impossible. The regret that sets in later is not about the things you did wrong, it's about the things you failed to attempt. It's the ghost of the self you could have been, perpetually haunting the comfortable, smaller self you settled for. This is why many people who have it all at 40 suddenly implode because they realize they traded their destiny for a mortgage and a safety net that was never meant to be permanent. This psychological insight is merely a contemporary echo of an ancient warning system embedded in every great story ever told. The mythological warning. To understand the gravity of the comfort trap, we must look to the oldest pattern of human experience, the hero's journey. Joseph Campbell, the great mythologist, defined this universal template. A hero leaves the familiar, ventures into the unknown, confronts forces of darkness, and returns transformed. The critical and often most relatable stage of this journey is the refusal of the call. This is the moment when the herald, the omen, the dream, the opportunity arrives, inviting the protagonist to leave their ordinary world. And what is the immediate human response? No. Think of the Oracle's message to Neo in The Matrix. He is a disillusioned computer programmer living a dull, predictable life, the embodiment of the ordinary world. He is restless, but bound by comfort and routine. When Morpheus offers him the red pill and the blue pill, the choice is between comfort, ignorance, the blue pill, and truth, suffering, the red pill. The blue pill is the ultimate comfort trap. It is the guarantee of stability, predictability, and safety. But it is a lie. It is a manufactured reality designed to keep you compliant. The moment Neo hesitates, the moment he considers staying behind, that is the refusal of the call. Why does the hero refuse? Because the ordinary world, while lacking meaning, is safe. It is a known quantity. The ordinary world is your current paycheck, your current apartment, your current set of friends who validate your current, smaller identity. The call demands that you sacrifice your current identity, the one you are comfortable with, for a future identity you have not yet earned. The great stories teach us that the refusal is a temporary state, a weakness that must be overcome. A hero who permanently refuses the call ceases to be the protagonist of their own life. They become a cautionary figure, the bitter old man, the cynical bystander, the one who watches life happen on a screen. They settle into the ordinary world until it becomes a swamp that drowns them in mediocrity. The tragedy of the refusal is not the lack of achievement, it is the unlived potential. It is the silent psychological decay that happens when the soul, designed to climb mountains, instead chooses to sit in a climate-controlled valley. Every life, especially in the defining decades of the 20s and 30s, is presented with a call. It might be an entrepreneurial idea, a move across the country, a commitment to mastery, or a difficult confrontation that changes a core relationship. Refusing it is choosing the comfort trap. And the only way out is to recognize the true nature of your situation and choose the very thing you are wired to avoid: voluntary hardship. The paradox of voluntary hardship. The greatest paradox of life is this: the only path to true, lasting stability is through deliberate, temporary instability. This is the core concept of anti-fragility, a term coined by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. Fragile things break under stress, like a glass vase. Robust things resist stress, like a brick. Anti-fragile things get better when exposed to stress, like the human immune system, or muscle fiber, or a young person's career. The comfort trap is a state of fragility. You fear the next economic downturn, the next layoff, the next social rejection, because your sense of security is dependent on everything staying the same. The moment things change, you shatter. Voluntary hardship is the choice to become anti-fragile. You choose to quit the safe job to start your own business. You choose to move to a more competitive city. You choose to master a skill that requires thousands of hours of uncomfortable practice. This is what I call the 5-year pain. The conscious decision to accept maximum instability for a finite period, your 20s and early 30s, to build a foundation of capability, not comfort. You are not building a safety net, you are building wings. This phase is essential because it shifts your personal identity from someone who needs external systems to someone who creates them. When you build the business, master the skill, or endure the hardship, you earn something that can never be taken away: competence under fire. The comfortable person, who never tested their limits, has their confidence tied to external factors: the title, the company, the bank balance. When those things are removed, their confidence vanishes. The anti-fragile person, who chose the 5-year pain, has their confidence tied to their proven ability to adapt and survive. They know they can start over because they've done the hard work of building themselves from scratch before. That is real stability. Before we move to the final stage of the hero's journey and how to identify your personal threshold, I need to ask you something vital. If you've watched this far, you're clearly someone committed to seeking truth and personal growth. You're not satisfied with the blue pill. That's why I ask you to join this community right now. Hit that subscribe button below and turn on notifications. It is your commitment to me, and more importantly, your commitment to the red pill philosophy we share here. Don't fall back into the ordinary world. Crossing the threshold and the true treasure. The true moment of transformation comes with crossing the threshold. This is the leap into the unknown. It's the moment the shepherd boy and the alchemist sells his sheep and commits to the desert journey. It is the point of no return. You burn the ships. You file the resignation letter. You cut off the toxic dependency. The fear before this leap is profound, but the fear is not of what you might lose. The fear is of what you might become. The fear is that the new self you are aiming for might be too competent, too powerful, too far removed from the safe, smaller identity that all your friends and family have come to expect. This is the inner demon you must confront. Once the threshold is crossed, the transformation is inevitable. The journey itself is the mechanism of change. The desert, the war zone, the lean startup years, the intense training. These are not obstacles blocking the treasure. They are the alchemical process that turns the base metal of your ordinary self into the gold of your noble self. This is where the ancient wisdom of the alchemist rings eternally true. The reward for our work is not what we get, but who we become. If the shepherd boy had simply received a map to the treasure under the abandoned church from day one, he would have been rich, but still a shepherd. He would have been fragile. He would have succumbed to the pitfalls of unearned wisdom, wealth and knowledge gained without the discipline and inner architecture to hold it. As Carl Jung warned, beware of unearned wisdom. The universe forced the boy to cross the desert, to be robbed, to work, to love, and to be tested by death, only to reveal the treasure was exactly where he started. The treasure was always a MacGuffin. The goal was not the gold. The goal was the capacity to possess the gold. The goal was the wise, courageous, self-knowing man who returned. The comfort trap lures us with a promise of skipping the journey. It says, here, take the blue pill. Here, take the shortcut. Here, take the unearned wisdom. But every shortcut bypasses the crucible of transformation. You may acquire the thing, but you will not acquire the self required to sustain it. The story of the lottery winner who loses it all is not a financial tragedy. It is a spiritual tragedy of unearned wisdom. Your 20s and 30s are your mythological desert crossing. If you prioritize comfort now, you are trading the opportunity to become anti-fragile for the certainty of becoming fragile later. The path of the hero is the only path that leads to a life free of the soul's itch. Because the true treasure is the unshakable faith in your own ability to create meaning out of chaos. It is the inner peace that comes from knowing you have paid the price of admission to your own potential. So here is the final truth to take from the myths. Your desire for stability is natural, but it is misplaced. Stability is not found in the absence of risk, but in the presence of capability. It is the privilege of a lifetime to become who you really are, and that privilege is earned, not given. It is earned on the other side of the threshold, in the fires of voluntary hardship. Right now, your life is presenting you with a choice. Look closely at your situation. Where are you refusing the call? Where is the gilded cage keeping you trapped? The choice is not between two easy options. The choice is between the blue pill of comfortable regret and the red pill of transformative suffering. You know the answer. Go out there, cross your threshold, find your desert, and become the person you were meant to be. If this video struck a nerve, tell me, what is the biggest gilded cage that you are currently trying to escape? Let me know in the comments below. Your answer might be the encouragement someone else needs to finally cross their own threshold. Don't forget to subscribe to continue the journey.